And then I said, "Doctor, if you don't want me to clinch, then don't put your thumb up there."
These intros, man. I'm not awake enough for this garbage.
Hey, one of us just woke up from a nap, and one of us was out to dinner with their fiance.
Yeah, and one of us maybe got like 4 hours of sleep. So
One of us should have thought ahead better.
one of us didn't have a choice.
It feels like one of us is making excuses while the other one is trying to make a podcast.
It feels like one of us works night shift and doesn't get any sleep ever.
It feels like one of us is going to get cut off mid-sentence for the intro to start.
Feels like
Welcome to the Garlic Boys podcast, where we treat friendship like a good recipe treats garlic. You can never have too much of it. Is that right?
yeah, that was right. I mean,
Okay.
to be fair, I wasn't listening.
You weren't listening, so what do you know? Welcome
But-
to Garlic Boys podcast, where we treat friendship like a good recipe treats garlic. You can never have too much of it.
Nailed it.
We're your hosts. I'm Connor O'Connor.
And I'm like really depressed, man.
This is the slowest.
Oh man, has it been a rough existence?
What's wrong, bud?
No, nothing. Like I'm
Oh,
living a
it's
great life.
It's just the fun, big, sad out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's I would assume it's like seasonal depression exacerbating the normal depression.
Isn't that like the best part of like April or May, like when your seasonal depression like finally washes away and your regular depression has room to breathe again?
It's glorious. It's really great. We're gonna be going hiking a lot this summer. Like we are determined. And I'm buying clothes every once in a while, like specifically for hiking. And I'm very excited. And honestly, probably getting all that vitamin D and that fresh air is gonna be great for me. But it's really just gonna kick the seasonal depression out of the way.
I really need to make it clear for the audience, because I do have a brand to maintain. I am not going hiking.
Yeah, I apologize.
When he says we, it's not me and him.
My fiance and
I don't go outdoors. Outdoors is scary.
Yeah, well, vitamin D.
The sun is a deadly laser.
Vitamin D and depression are like mortal enemies. So the more sun I get, the better I may feel.
It's fine, dude. I eat oranges, so I have so much vitamin D, and I can't get scurvy.
I'm pretty sure oranges are vitamin C.
I'm pretty sure you're wrong.
I am not.
And I would just actually love the sunshine. From my desk in my office, I have like one of those little like basement windows that you can see out of, because I technically work underground. It's like,
right.
And today it's a little tinted so that like the sun isn't so bright coming through it. And today it was rainy and dark all day. And then you add on like the tint from the window, and it was just the most depressing. Like, there's a tree right outside my window that has no leaves on it. It was sad and rainy, and just I did not like looking out the window today, and I usually do.
Yeah. I have days if I'm at work and it's sad and rainy, I hate it, right? Like that. Right. It's like I could be at home. I know you don't read a ton, right? Because dyslexia, it's hard to read. I know you don't. Like I make a habit of trying to read as much as possible, especially recently when I found a good book, which I will be talking about later. But anyway, I like to curl up and read. and have a little blanket on, light some candles. It's a very nice existence when it's pouring rain outside and I get to read. But when I'm stuck at work, man, and it's dark and dreary and rainy, no thanks.
I get it.
Especially with it being the winter and all of that rain is turning into ice, layers upon layers upon layers of ice. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Because I wear Vans. I wear Vans all the time. Do you think those have any sort of ice traction? No, they don't have remotely any ice traction. They have no traction. You could hydroplane on those.
I wore the newest pair of the 13 pairs of 12 pairs of shoes that Autumn has gotten me over the course of our relationship.
That's a lot.
And I wore that today, and it actually had some good traction. I enjoyed it a lot.
I was at the mall the other day, which who goes to the mall anymore? A lot of people apparently when it's a big mall. Anyway, I went to the mall and they were selling at the one store. I don't know. I don't remember which shoe brand it was. At the one store, they were selling Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shoes, and I don't even.
Oh, I know exactly which one you're talking. I think it's Puma.
I think it is Puma. You're right. I don't care at all about Puma shoes, Nike, Adidas, literally any of like the brand name shoes. I get my shoes from Walmart and occasionally Vans when I have a little extra money. Those shoes look so sick. I want them badly. They're so cool.
They come in a pizza box looking shoe box. They are like the turtle shell green, and then the basically the logo on the sides, like all Puma shoes have that like line that goes down it. One has the purple and red, the other has the blue and orange for all four of their masks. And then underneath the insole on the shoe, it's some spilled cheese and pepperoni, so it looks like you dropped your pizza on them. They're so sick, like the design of them.
So good.
I saw someone like look at them and break them down. Like typically, I don't watch like shoe guy videos.
Yeah,
but like this was sick.
If I had a lot of money and didn't plan on wearing them ever, I would probably buy them. But like that's the thing. I hate buying shoes that are like awesome. You know what I mean? That are really cool because I don't want to ruin them. I don't want to get the wear and tear on the sole. I don't want like anything to happen to them. I don't want them to get dirty. I don't want them to, rip or, whatever else happens with, the normal wear and tear of shoes. As cool as they are, I would never, ever buy them because I never want to wear them. I would put them in a display case and look at them.
I feel that. And like, I get that aspect of like shoe guys now because that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
Would I do that with any normal pair of shoes? Probably not.
No. Like limited edition kind of like stuff that is only sold for a couple months. Like that. Yeah, that's sweet. That's cool. But like regular shoes, especially if it's collaboration stuff, those things don't really stay.
Right. You need one that like is worth it because like you're spending $300 on the shoe anyways on the low end. Right. So when I want one that like I'm gonna feel proud of.
Again, going back to if I had money, I would totally buy 2 pairs of the shoes. I'd buy 2 pairs so I could wear a pair and then keep a pair nice and pristine. Too bad I don't have any money. Actually, when I went to the mall, I was just letting everybody else spend money because I had $0 because my card got hacked. It was great.
Yeah. Do you have an update on that at all?
Yeah, they gave me my provisional money finally, which is the money they give me. Like it's essentially the amount that the was stolen from me. They give me that money, and then if they decide that it was fraud, I get to keep the money because it was my money to begin with. If they decide it was not fraud, then they take the money back, which is unfortunate for people who try to claim that it's fraud. If they decide that it's not fraud, I'm going to sue. Like with what money? I don't know, but I'm gonna sue because the guy was in South Dakota. The lady called me today, and she's like, "These McDonald's purchases, they're not from you." I'm like, "Look around those McDonald's purchases." That same day, I made purchases in Emlenton, like in the town that I live in. So how do you think I have a teleportation pad that I can just go from South Dakota to Emlenton in 2 minutes? No, that's not possible. Even if I drove 24 hours, I don't think I could make it to Sioux Falls.
You could fly.
That's fair, but there was stuff before that too. So what did I fly to Sioux Falls just to get McDonald's and then fly right back?
Hey man, I don't know your life.
It doesn't make any plausible sense, okay? But I don't know. I hope that they decide it was fraud because guess what? It was all fraud.
I believe that, and I believe you. But you know, like what doesn't make sense? Crime.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't. What? I mean, I disagree. I think crime makes complete and total sense. Now that I think about it for more than half a second, I think crime makes sense. Why doesn't crime make sense to you, bud?
Because crime doesn't pay, and I don't work for free.
Was this whole thing a setup?
Yep,
for that?
It was that bit. Also, the whole time we've been discussing, maybe the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I've been creating a design on Canva. Would you like to see it?
I would love to see it. Yeah.
This is gonna be up on the Redbubble for those watching. Oh, Mom, don't watch this part. I made this. Reading is hard, and so am I.
I love the wolf in the background. Oh my goodness. Solid.
Yeah. That was worth it, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
One thing I did pay attention to is this fun TikTok that came up from our local news affiliate here in Pittsburgh, Matt. And they were doing a story on the Iron Mountain Vault that you used to work at, right? Is that what it was?
It's not. Vault? It's not really. I mean, there are vaults.
The big vault door.
It's one of those, like, it looks like the steering wheel on a pirate ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing is a vault. Yeah, super secure.
The reason they were doing the story is Musk was blaming the vault and the old elevator inside of it of why they couldn't get more people to retire. There was only I think it was 10,000 people a day. Only 10,000 people a day could retire from the government because the elevator was too slow to bring the paperwork down to the vault. And so they were wasting money by having people not be able to retire. Given that you have an insider knowledge to the elevator system,
right?
How slow that elevator go?
They don't have an elevator. There's no elevator. There is not a single elevator in all of Iron Mountain. I can't say in all of Iron Mountain because I have not been in Iron Mountain. Like certain rooms and stuff, I was not allowed in. So right. I can't say 100% that in some of those secret government rooms there's not an elevator, that goes deeper into ground. There's the Bat Cave and everything. Like, I can't promise that there's no elevator that goes down there.
But considering we saw a file room that KDKA was presenting as the governmental file room within the clip, and KDKA had access, it's probably not like a super secret room that you probably wouldn't have known about, right? Like if KDKA can know about it.
I did patrols through like the retirement file rooms.
Okay.
Like those aren't super secret. There's a lot of super secret rooms down there, because it's the government. But the retirement file rooms, not that secret, right? Because it's people who have retired from the government. Who cares? I mean, obviously we care about it because we store the information, but like, and again, it's a very protected and safe place, right? Like I don't want to seem like even security didn't care about the retirement files, right? Because they did. They cared about everything that was down there. But I don't know if Musk's information is just very, very incorrect. It has nothing to do with any elevator. It is a mine. It is a mine,
Right.
but it's not like a deep underground mine. Like you're a few hundred feet underground, right? Like not that insane. You walk down a ramp to get to like the lowest part of the mine. I don't know if he's correct, and I also don't know if he is correct about anything, because like realistically,
Look, I pulled up the video and I'm looking at what they said in the not the comments, but the description of the video. It says he claimed that the mine's elevator determines how many people can retire from the government given its speed. But multiple employees told Butler Eagle that Musk's comments are inaccurate, stating that the facility doesn't have an elevator and the process of retirement paperwork for federal employees varies on a case-by-case basis. So it's not breaking. Right. I didn't even read that before. So it's not breaking news that you're letting us know that it doesn't have an elevator.
Oh,
this is information that anyone who read or watched this video could have gotten.
Yes. Yeah. Anybody who knows literally anything. Sorry, Elon. I don't believe you're intelligent at all.
Clearly not. Because this is like, okay, there's not many situations where you and I can say like, hey, because he is a government official. A government official is for sure lying to us.
Right.
But I have
inside information.
Firsthand
experience
not with this facility.
Correct.
And you can verify straight up.
So either he's really dumb. Either he's really dumb or he is lying. You know what I mean? Like he's really dumb and he doesn't know what he's talking about, or he's lying.
Matt, he couldn't be really dumb. This is a man that built companies from the ground up by buying them from other people. How could that be dumb?
Say, well,
this is a man that got tricked into buying a failing social media company for 3 times what it was worth. How could he be dumb?
Listen, okay. The fact that he is running a company called the Department of Government Efficiency, and we're not even going to broach on the fact that is a meme,
Doge,
like a meme name. He's not doing anything that's efficient. If you want to cut down on government spending and make the government more efficient, you need to cut down on the billions and trillions of dollars that's getting put into the military. You need to cut down on the money that we're going to apparently buy Greenland and Canada with, or take by force, which is still going to be billions of dollars in military money. Like, you're not doing anything by cutting down the elevator time with Iron Mountain's retirement filing. Like, you're not doing anything to reduce government spending. You're not doing anything that's actually useful. The programs that he has been targeting have been actually useful, right? Like, I'm not saying the military is a bad thing to put money into. I think that every country should have a substantial military. That's just because some people are jerkwads and they want to go to war. Militaries are fine. But putting trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars every single year, making that our highest expenditure countrywide, when Congress is getting bonuses and raises every year that they get to vote on themselves, like, I think you're focusing on the wrong things, Musk. I think you are incorrect.
I have 2 points off of what you just said. The
Sure.
first point is it doesn't matter how helpful the programs that they're cutting are. It's because they want to cut them that they're cutting them.
Right.
There was
right.
there was a more one of the like the most famous things that they're talking about right now is how the U.S. government was spending $50 million on condoms for Gaza. First of all, wasn't the Gaza in the Middle East. It was the Gaza. It was a country, or as a country or a city or something like that. Can't remember the specifics right now, but this was said in the press briefing room for the White House, so you can fact check me on this part. It was a Gaza in Africa. The condoms were going to help stop the spread of HIV and AIDS,
Right.
which is killing millions of people within the African continent. And it's still a problem they have dearly there, even though America has helped lessen the burden for its citizens on that. That's why they're helping another country. But it doesn't matter that that's happening. They're framing it as, well, we're sending money for condoms in that country because in why aren't we helping the Americans? But they're only saying that so that you focus on this hand, and then with this hand, they're taking all that money that they just saved and putting it right in their pockets.
Right.
Because you see, Musk is a government employee that still owns several companies with government contracts. So what he's doing is saying, hey, don't look at this, and then looking at him being able to do whatever he wants, lessening regulations on it, and getting himself out of trouble. We have had 6 major plane crashes, since Trump took office. That is because he fired the head of the FAA whenever he became in, put hiring freezes on them, and listened to restrictions to become FAA and flight control operators. That's because the FAA was looking into Musk and looking into some shady dealings that he was doing. So Musk told Trump to fire the FAA regulator. They haven't put a new one in. So things are going to get worse because you don't have someone making sure that they're not bad.
Yeah.
Look, say what you want about Trump, but I don't care about him anymore because he's not the threat. When somebody else is controlling you and they have their hands so far up you that they're puppeting your words, and so that because they're too awkward and don't understand social cues to talk out loud, sure. And they're puppeting you with one hand and making Roman salutes with the other. It's all done to distract you from the fact that he's trying to give himself the money he claims to be saving the American people.
Something kind of funny along the lines of what you're saying. Did you see the clip of Musk's kid saying to Trump, "You're not the president"? So clearly Musk also believes that he is the president, and he's saying this in front of his child, and his child is parroting it to directly to Trump. Hilarious, but also oh my golly.
We have President Musk, First Lady Donald Trump, and then White House Assistant Staffer J.D. Vance. And guess what? You're not going to be able to afford any food now because they're cutting all these stuff and not putting it back into the economy. So you're not going to be able to afford healthy food, and then you're going to get sick. And too bad. Now RFK Jr. is going to be the health secretary. So all that life-saving medicine that you need, you're not going to have access to because he doesn't believe it's actually real or that it's going to help you. And so you're just going to have to die sick and alone in a hole because you can't have a better life because billionaires want to make Gaza Palooza or whatever they called it by doing war crimes and racial cleansing in another part of the world instead of just helping the people here. So go ahead, raise the flag and salute red, white, and blue land, or whatever they're calling it. Take a dip in the Gulf of America because nothing matters anymore.
I think, and we can move on from this because I don't want this to become a purely political and depressing podcast, right? I want to say one thing. I think the scariest part of all this, right, is that all of Trump's executive orders have been to appease his following, right?
Right.
Him saying he's flooding us with executive orders to distract us from what's really going on, right? All of these executive orders are everything that his people have been, pushing for years. He's now going to use that when it comes to his 4 years are up. He's going to use that, say, hey, when I'm out and somebody else is in, they're going to revoke all of those executive orders. So why not elect me for a third term? Why not just elect me as your monarch and king? Like that's how it's going to end up. Like that not only are these a sand in the eyes of all of the country, right? Like a distraction technique that's blinding you from what's really going on underneath, because realistically he has control of Congress, he has control of the courts, so why couldn't he just pass these through Congress, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to use these, right, his substantial power, and I'm putting that in quotes because executive orders don't really have that much power, but his substantial power as the president of the United States to then convince people to give him a third term, which is going to be a war. Like there's going to be a civil war or a world war. I don't know. It's one of those things, because other countries are preparing for the lead up to genocide, the lead up to World War III. They're already preparing for it.
And like we are going to move on because I really need to ask you about what is behind you. Okay. But I will say, like, and it's not just that he's putting out executive orders. It's that he's fully not going through the Congress, and he's fighting the judges to say that they didn't want to help you. I did. So let's abolish them too. And that's how he becomes king. Yep. He fully makes everyone lose faith in the entire system and not just say, well, the executive branch is the one with all the power. It's the executive branch was the one that wanted to help you. Everyone else made me not be able to.
Right. Okay, so the thing behind me.
If you're not watching on youtube.com/@thegarlicboys,
describe it, buddy.
You should go to see this, but also, boy howdy, Matt, do you want to describe this to everyone who refuses to go over to YouTube?
Give me 1 second. I will explain in 30 seconds. Sorry, my dog walked in with a bra around her neck, which I thought was very funny. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
What?
I don't know. Apparently Mia came up the stairs and saw my dog, and the dog had somehow a bra around her neck.
Well, okay then.
Anyway, so the thing behind me, go ahead. Do you want to describe it or do you want me to describe it?
Well, what I see just right now is an incredibly buff man with a leather strap around his wrist, who is missing one sleeve and has another, is not wearing pants but has those heart-shaped boxers on, or heart boxers, like the white ones, like some spiked knee pads, looks like on both knees, 4 other people running with him. He also has a cat that's very fluffy and furry with a purple and green crown on its head on his shoulder. And then behind them is just a gaggle of incredibly buff pigs in BDSM wear, it looks like. That look like they're piled up like the zombies in World War Z.
You nailed it. Good job, buddy. So, have I talked about Dungeon Crawler Carl yet?
I don't believe you have.
Okay, good. I was hoping. Okay, so Dungeon Crawler Carl is this new book series that I've gotten into, right? We saw it at Walmart, and I was like, that's a really cool cover. It wasn't this cover, but this is one of the covers for the books, but it was a different, like, book sleeve cover. Anyway, so I was like, man, that's a really cool cover. Holy shoot, I have it right here.
Okay, but before you hold it up and try and show it to me, remember you have a background on.
I know. I'll turn it off real quick. Okay, so this is the cover. I was like, that's pretty cool. Like that's a cool little cover.
Yeah, I like it. That'd catch an eye.
Yeah, exactly. The bright colors. On the inside it says "You will not break me." Like it's pretty nice. Pretty nice. It caught my eye, and I was like, Dungeon Crawler Carl. That sounds like a fantasy book. Right up my alley, down my lane, if you will.
Right.
So anyway, so I picked it up, and I wasn't expecting, too much. This is the greatest book series I've ever read in my entire life. To be fair, I didn't know it was a series. He started back in like 2019, I believe, and he has put out 7 books already.
Oh, dang.
Or 6 or 7. It doesn't matter, but quite a few books already, several per year. And I got the first one and loved it. I read that book, which, mind you, not a thin book. Like it's not thick like Harry Potter thick, but it's pretty substantial. For me, it would take about like 2 months to read it because I'm a slow reader and I get distracted really easily. I read it in like 2 days. This book, first of all, incredibly easy to read. Second of all, incredibly fun and enjoyable to read. Probably my man. Just right in the middle of what I was saying. He just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. Check out the fit. I'm wearing a new sweatshirt from TJ Maxx. Van Gogh, Starry Night. Pretty cool. You can only see it at youtube.com/@thegarlicboys. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's kind of like that. I mean, it's like a normal sweatshirt material that's kind of uncomfortable to touch. And it's like that carpet or blanket kind of material, like that. I don't know how to describe it, man. Okay, are you ready?
Sorry, I was yawning so much.
That's okay. Sometimes we need that energy, buddy. So this book series is about it takes place in modern times, if you can believe it. It is about a man named Carl who his cat escaped from his house, like jumped out the window. So he went outside in just a coat and his underwear in order to go get this cat and bring it back inside because it's his ex-girlfriend's cat that he's holding on to for a while. There's a lot of backstory that goes into it.
Right.
So he goes to get this cat, and at the same time as he's outside, all of the buildings on the entire planet collapse. They collapse into nothing.
Oh.
Every vehicle, every boat, every building, all just collapse into nothing. And it's not like they just like crumbled, to the ground. They like disappeared into the ground, right? So all of the buildings are gone. The earth is completely, and I say this as in the surface of the earth is flat, not the shape of the earth is flat. Surface of the earth is flat. So like he's in New York, you can see for miles, essentially. Anyway, so this happened. Everybody in those buildings is dead, right? And everyone who's outside the buildings at the time, and keep in mind that the time where he is, which was like 2 a.m, is not the same as the time on the other side of the planet, which was like midday. So there's probably thousands, millions of people outdoors on the other side of the planet. Right. But anyway, they get like a big notification, like kind of like over loudspeakers saying, "Welcome to Dungeon Crawler World," blah, blah, blah. Like they're in a game TV show or something. And then a bunch of stairwells open up. And they basically said, you can stay on the surface and try to survive without shelter or anything to help you, or you can come down into the dungeon and test your luck and try and survive and everything. So he grabs the cat and he goes into the dungeon. And eventually they come across some goblins, blah, blah, blah. Like they get to the tutorial guild, which is where you learn about the dungeon. You learn, how to use your abilities and stuff like that. And you like how you go in is all statted, right? So if I went in right now, my strength would probably be like 3. My dexterity would probably be like 2. My intelligence would be like 3 or 4. Like stuff like that, where it's like realistic stats. And then as you go through, you can level up. So it turns into like an actual fantasy world where you're fighting monsters, you're leveling up your abilities, you gain new abilities. Once you hit a certain floor of the dungeon, there's 18 floors. Once you hit a certain floor, you can choose a new race and a new class. So if you want to specialize in something like hand-to-hand combat, you can choose like a martial class, like a monk or something like that. Your race kind of goes into that as well. If you want to stay human, you can stay human, but you don't get the benefits of going to a race like a minotaur, or something like that. So it has been such an exciting book story, and this is actually one of the boss fights behind me.
Okay.
So eventually the cat gains sentience and can actually talk, and is essentially another dungeon crawler. And they like team up. Her charisma is like so dang high. And she changed her name to Princess Donut, the ruler and champion or empress of the dungeon or something like that. She's great. She's like a cat. She's like a typical cat where she's totally a jerk all the time, very aloof, but like also like has a sensitive side, like cats are.
Right.
These are just random people they have met like along the way, but this was a boss fight. It was a big, I hate to say it on this podcast, you can bleep it if you want, a big orgy of pigs.
I almost used that word to describe it earlier.
A big ball of pigs that just kind of morphed together, and that's the boss. It's like a rolling ball of pigs, and so they had to think ingenuitively and figure out how to take down this big ball of pigs. The people around them were actually employees at a nursing home. Okay. And the old people in the nursing home were outside because of a fire drill, or like the fire alarm was pulled. And so they were outside of the building. And so these people are trying to get all of the elderly people through this dungeon. Wild and impossible. But once they hit floor 3, they can like choose a new race, which will allow them to not be elderly anymore, essentially.
Sorry if I've missed this part.
Okay.
How is this happening?
So apparently, this is stuff you find out in the book, right? Apparently there's this alien like syndicate.
Sorry. Spoilers.
Yeah, big spoilers. For like the lore of the series. There's a big syndicate, right, that goes to different planets and allows them to grow. And once they grow to a certain point, then they put together the dungeon, right? Like they start the dungeon. So humanity is one of those planets and has grown to a certain point where they decided they wanted to do the dungeon.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. There's a lot. I will say there's some politics in the game where it's all about like the syndicate. It's all about, who's running it and stuff like that. It's not like heavy politics. It's not like boring politics. It's a very, very, very enjoyable series. Incredible. I just bought the second book at Half Price Books. Thank you, Half Price Books. And I'm already halfway through it. And again, very slow reader. It takes an incredible book for me to stay focused and read it quickly. These books are so funny. They're so incredible. So far, there hasn't been a lot. Like, obviously, there's a giant conglomeration of sexual pigs around, like behind me, right? I hate saying that. Obviously, there are like sexual aspects to it, but it's
a more mature book.
Right. Yes. It has a maturity level that you need to be a little bit older. There's some language content in it, stuff like that. But there's nothing like, it's not like a romance book. There's nothing overtly like in your face sexual. I know that seems ironic considering my background, but it's not like they're going into heavy detail about certain things.
And I believe you, but there's one pig butt that I keep I keep Finding
Or this
no,
one?
I did that one. I didn't even know there was one over there. I just keep
Yeah, that
finding
one.
it. Oh, that's worse. That's so much worse.
It's much worse.
Oh no.
I even for the non-readers out there, I would highly recommend these books. These books are so phenomenal, well written, hilarious, engaging. They're incredible, and like in the dungeon, it's being recorded, right? So they have like a TV show. It's kind of like a reality TV show, like Survivor or something like that, where they're going through the dungeon and people. It's televised, and
Right.
people are watching it. And not people, I guess aliens are watching it, and they're able to sponsor and vote and do certain things that kind of influence the game. It's so good, man. I love, like, this might be my new favorite series.
I found something out this week just based on books, and then I have a garlic spotlight that I'd
Cool.
like to hit out for you.
Speaking of G spots,
Stop.
sorry.
You're gonna get us demonetized worse than how we already are of not monetized. So Rick Riordan is one of the only authors that I've ever like been able to read pretty much, I'd say, successfully, because it's an easier writing style and it just like makes sense when I read it. And Percy Jackson, Heroes of Olympus, the Magnus Chase Chronicles, whatever those are, and even the Trials of Apollo, like those are some of the only book series, not Trials of Apollo, but the other three, the only book series I've read the entire collection of. And so I've always said that those are the only books that I was able to read or that I've read, because it's the only ones I've ever read the full thing of. At least the full series of. I will admit that I've also read some of the 39 Clues books.
Right.
But I never finished the series because I found it more difficult to read as I went along with it. And that's because I found out this week that the first book is written by Rick Riordan, but the rest of the books are written by different authors.
Yeah.
And so that's why I found it more and more difficult to read the books. But also kind of a cool idea for a series. I don't know if that's a common thing because I'm not in the bookosphere or like on Book Talk or whatever, but like to have an overarching storyline that's written by a different author, it feels very much like a TV show to me.
Yeah, right. Those
And
are
so
like interesting books.
Yeah. I think I dropped off around number 4, and then I also owned number 10 for a little while, so I started reading that. And spoilers, found out like we weren't gonna get 39 books in the series, and they start like getting close to the end of the hunt in number 10. And it's like, well, what's the point now?
Yeah. Listen, I think Rick is a masterful author. I think he's incredible. I think everything, and he keeps writing more stuff too. Like he's written 2 additions to the Percy Jackson series, like the original series. I think they're still after the other books, but like they're like about Percy and them.
There's the Nico and Will book that I can't remember, and then there's a new one coming out this year that like I think focuses on Percy again. That's coming out.
Yeah, because there was the Chalice of the Gods.
Yeah.
And then there was another one that he wrote. Okay. So I guess there's the Wrath of the Triple Goddess. That might be the newest one.
That's the one that's coming out this year, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. That's a cool alternate cover. Yeah, so could you tell me more? Why do you hate me?
The Sun and the Star is the Nico and Will one.
Yes. I wish they would show me all his books. Why do you have to be annoying?
I found it. It's under publications if you're on his Wikipedia.
Oh, I'm actually on the rickriordan.com.
Oh.
Okay, the Chalice of the Gods was the first one, book 6 technically in the Percy Jackson and the Olympians book series, which came out many, many years after the last Olympian. And then coming out soon, or has come out, whatever, Wrath of the Triple Goddess, which is the next book in the series. So cool stuff that he's like still adding on to and not just completely moving on. Like he's obviously slowed down quite a bit, but he's still adding on to it, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I have the Chalice of the Gods. I just haven't read it yet.
Me either. I don't own it, but I haven't read it either. So not technically me either, but close enough, I guess.
Yeah.
What are the senior year adventures? Is that okay? That makes sense. It's a Percy Jackson story. All right. I'm not gonna get distracted by that because I have a garlic spotlight. I'm not spotlighting Rick Roy. Everyone knows we enjoy him.
Yeah.
My garlic spotlight is for the TV show High Potential.
High Potential. Okay.
It's on ABC or Hulu. And it follows Caitlin Olsen, who is probably more famously known by everyone as Dee from It's Always Sunny. And she is what is known as a high potential individual. And she is a single mom caring for 3 children. And she was originally a cleaning lady at the police department until a high IQ made her see a problem in a case and have to fix it. And it became something that like broke the case open for the detectives, and so she becomes a consultant. Very similar to a lot of TV shows we enjoy, as super smart person who is not the conventional crime solver joins up with the detective that's all business and moves forward. Which is why it's so cool that James Roday Rodriguez directed the season finale for High Potential.
Nice.
Which also happened to be very similar to one of the first episodes he directed. I think not the first, maybe the second, but one of the best episodes he ever directed for Psych. In the Yang episode, the first episode, where they're finding someone who wants to play games and she has to solve the puzzles within the games.
Okay.
And it's very much like everyone else is struggling to solve them, and she has to use her intelligence to solve it. And it's very good. And I was watching it, and I was like, why is this giving me Yang episode vibes? And I looked it up. It's because it was directed by him.
That's awesome. I love him.
And so, like, watch the entire series. It's very good. I think it's like it's very much that same vibe of Psych, but also like refreshing. It doesn't feel like it's kind of playing over the same tropes or whatever. It's funny, but there's also like dramatic moments in it. And the cast is very good, including Judy Reyes, who was Carla on Scrubs, as the lieutenant for the Major Crimes Division of LAPD.
Nice.
And it's nice seeing her just on the screen again. Every time, because she was so great on Scrubs. Anytime I see her now, it's like, oh, cool, Judy's in this.
That's awesome, buddy. I'm gonna definitely give it a look because that sounds like a lot of fun. I've been watching a lot of like The Rookie has been coming out with new episodes every week, and Spider-Man on Disney Plus, which I know you're choosing not to watch right now or ever.
I have been watching Invincible though. Did you watch the first 4 episodes? Oh my goodness.
I love that show so much. I'm so happy it's back. So there's a lot on my plate as far as TV shows, but I definitely will put that on my list because it sounds awesome.
We're definitely getting fed. And before next week, I need you to also go see Captain America Brave New World, because we should talk about that, because I'm seeing it tomorrow.
I'll try, buddy. I'll try. I'll see if I can get like a little group together to go so I can see it. Because my buddy at work wanted to watch it too, so I was like, I could, but it's like Valentine's weekend. So how do I reconcile this, right?
My fiance asked me to go see the movie.
Oh, I should ask my.
I know she's dope, right?
She's pretty dope. Not gonna lie, pretty dope.
How often are you gonna find yourself a girl that's like, "Hey, do you want to go see the nerdy movie with me?"
Yeah,
she
no,
also wants to see it.
I don't think it ever happens. I think you're lying. I'm sorry. No,
Yeah, you're right. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Garlic Boys. If you want to follow us online, you can find us at the Garlic Boys on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Threads. We post on there as much as I remember, and I promise you, I'm trying to remember more.
Same.
Listen, we spent 10 minutes talking about depression earlier. We're working on it.
I listen. I'm getting new insurance, so maybe I can actually get depression medication that's going to work.
And if you want to help us pay for that depression medication for both of us, you can head on over to patreon.com/@thegarlicboys, where we post. Not only is it just a great way to support us, but if you support us more, you get our after show for our TGB One Shots, which we've been behind on a little bit, but because of scheduling conflicts and the holidays and just how things have been going, we are getting back into getting those episodes edited, trying to put out the best possible product for you. So keep a lookout for when season 2 comes back. If you want to support us in another way, you can head over to redbubble.com, see our designs that we've put up over there, and get them on your t-shirts, wherever you want to see them. You can find the design that I just made probably up there soon. And if you want to support us on YouTube, you can head over to youtube.com/@thegarlicboys, watch video versions of this show and the Clever Boy Quiz the Show up there as well. Matt, do you have a supplementary mom report for this week? Why do you always make that face? We do this bit every week.
And I always forget every week.
We have 3 running bits.
The G spot.
No.
The supplementary mom report. Man, oh man. Who can I talk about this week? Just cut out the silence while I think. Hold on.
No, I'm gonna keep talking and filling space,
right?
So you can think, so everyone knows exactly how long it took for you to figure out one mother.
Right.
Just a singular mother.
It's a singular mother that we haven't done before, and that is a good mom. Yeah.
It somehow relates to something we talked about today, if possible.
If possible, which it likely won't, right? You know what? Let's go with Percy Jackson's mom. So we've already done her. I know that, but Sally Jackson relates to this week, and I love Sally Jackson.
I would have gone with Magnus Chase's mom, who died protecting her son, but sure.
To be fair, I haven't read that series. I'm terrible, I know.
I own all 3 books if you want to borrow them.
There's only 3?
Yeah.
Oh, dang, I own all 3 too.
Oh my gosh, dude. Well, my mom for this week is going to be Morgan Guillory, who is the main character in High Potential.
Nice.
Matt, any final thoughts for this week?
Go crawl in a dungeon with Carl. Do it. Beware of the orgy pig people.
Thank you so much for listening, and as always, remember to stay garlicky. Is it bad I did this post just so I could use it for the thumbnail?
Just for the thumbnail? Oh,
this really? Is just for the thumbnail.
Hold on. Do it again.
Like this. Just this, dude.
Just this, dude.
Just this, dude.
That's all I'm doing.
Wait. Just this, dude.
Just this, dude. That's all I'm doing, dude. That's it.
That's all I'm doing, dude.